Hello internet and welcome back to the most fantastically fanatical channel on YouTube, Top 10 Nerd, the place where popular culture meets reality like a ley line of solar radiated Kryptonian energy. What's going on guys? Today I'll be your humble host Jack Finch as we snatch the papers hot off the press and check the nerd headlines, because if you didn't know in Metropolis, Henry Cavill's out and Michael B. Jordan is in. Roll the clip.
I'll be right there!
Yes, you heard that correctly. Henry Cavill is hanging up his red leather lace boots and bowing out of the Man of Steel role. And who's rumoured to replace him? Well, none other than the resounding Michael B. Jordan. Hold on to your hats. Before we jump into that though guys, let's comb over the house rules. If you're a fan of this video, DC, Superman, or just Top 10 Nerd in general, you know the drill by now. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and share it on with your nearest and dearest nerds. While you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe bell so you can stay up to date with our latest and greatest uploads. On with the show. Yesterday, news hit that the chiseled chin himself, Henry Cavill, will not be reprising his role as DC's Superman as part of the Warner Bros. Cinematic direction. For some, this is far from shocking information, as word has been out that Warner Bros. Have been mulling over a completely new direction with its Superman canon for quite some time, considering a radical new image for the somewhat hit and miss on-screen interpretations of the DC universe. For the most part, Warner Bros. Have been focusing on a complete and utter overhaul of their DC image, following the wake of Justice League's massive underperformance at the box office. It was intended to be the DC Cinematic Universe contender to Infinity War and the flagship of the franchise, but fell completely short of its $1 billion global goal with just $657.9 million. Following a statement from the studio which went on to explain that Cavill's departure had been in the wind for quite some time, the star won't be reprising his role as Superman, with the studio instead focusing on other Justice League bombshells such as Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 1984 and Jason Momoa's Aquaman. A spokesperson from the studio said, "We have a great relationship and great respect for Henry Cavill that continues to remain unchanged. Additionally, we have made no current decisions regarding any upcoming Superman films." So where does that leave our ex-Man of Steel? Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Cavill has pinched the lead as Geralt of Rivia in the upcoming Netflix adaptation of the Witcher series. Admittedly, it's pretty clear where the conflict of interest has occurred here, with the main man trading in the cape for the Zweihander permanently. The lead role in a television series is a huge investment of time, and Cavill is likely set to reinvent himself as an actor as the dark, broody, gallows humorous Witcher, rather than the clean-cut Man of Steel. So that leaves us with a completely different set of boots to fill. Deadline, along with several other news sources, have reportedly staked their claim as Michael B. Jordan having an almost guaranteed role as the new Superman somewhere down the road. But where will that leave the franchise as a whole? For one, MBJ will be the first black actor to reprise the role of Superman and perhaps add a much needed dimension to the relatively straightforward franchise. Let's not beat around the bush, Superman is pretty boring. It's hard to add character depth when you're overpowered as balls, but there are a few exciting options for Michael B. Jordan's Superman. For one, we've got Val Zod, the second Kryptonian to ever head up the mantle of Superman. First appearing in Earth 2 issue 19, Val escaped a tyrannical Krypton government, fleeing the planet during its destruction in his parents' capsule. There he taught himself from his parents' records left over in the capsule, understanding that violence was the stupidest way to overcome dilemma, in the process becoming a pacifist. Already we've got a fresh new storyline for Superman that leaves room to breathe for the leftover Clark Kent role. Val has a pretty awesome storyline throughout Earth 2, particularly World's End, and is a fresh reboot for contemporary DC fans. Perhaps it will aim to please the die-hard fandom rather than pandering towards a relatively despondent audience. Warner Bros. Really need to shake up a thing or two. Even more likely though is the Calvin Ellis version of Superman, literally the President of the United States, originally based on Barack Obama during his time in office, and later added in Final Crisis issue 7. Calvin Ellis' origin mirrors Clark Kent's nearly identically and could be a much more streamlined way for Michael B. Jordan to step into the role. Admittedly, a lot of retconning would be needed to divulge the multiverse, but yeah, it could be done. Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor, and personally, DC would be foolish not to snap him up. But as we know, MBJ is already penned into the Marvel role of Eric Killmonger and was a huge fan favourite for the Black Panther reveal. Yes, granted, Killmonger dies at the end of the MCU film, but if you're a fan of the comic book run, you'll know that Killmonger gets resurrected on several occasions, initially by the Mandarin. Lead director Kevin Feige has already stated that a Black Panther sequel is in the pipeline for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Michael B. Jordan clearly stated in an interview for MTV that he'd jump at the chance to return as Eric Killmonger. So would we be getting into a cinematic tug of war between DC and Marvel Studios? Well, only time will tell. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of Michael B. Jordan as Superman? Are you happy to see Henry Cavill go? Leave your thoughts in the comment box down below. You know the drill by now. If you're a fan of this video, why don't you go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's upload. If you'd like to continue your DC binge, feel free to hit that playlist floating conveniently above. It's been a pleasure to bring this video to the Nerd Table. I've been your host, Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 10 Nerd, and until next time, you take it easy.